Suama kwaba eba POG Media so said the dane die no se je adwase na chese ye mo hodo nti na ye so yetena se yetena se na chese Ghana political stories ni na chese ye nso Akroma ye de baba begu ye media no so na chese mo so won sa etimi aka bi na ma hu de echo ene de eba ni na ewo my Ghana ye political ye highway ni so na me share se na de di kan na obajuma di so ani di kwa so abedro subscription na wa share obetimi so abo e de read the comment section na also wetimi e di komo se de be ya adwuma di no and so ebetimi abeye krabesh na yebo e de ryan se mana chese ye de ani and so e de jira John Dramani Mahama e na kachi ame no ka se e petition bi abo e de run officer e free e ye apprenti bi e free ni Yusuf a chese ono so ne petition mu no de wom ni na ne se e ye the acting e ye chief justice no ono so ne ye bi a chese oye ya na se e ye ne misconduct bi and so ebetimi atanehye e ye oman no e ye ni image a the science original sa petition no so e de ache yira John Dramani Mahama say onyi no emfem free e sa position no ene e die so won so e won trim say ono so betimi aye no e the permanent e CJ wo man Ghana mu no eno so entimi emboa wo man Ghana na we na e Ghana ba and so I reply and I say my return e back to the petition and say Ira John Dramani Mahama enhwe na on this me say sa petition na Abranti friend Yusuf and so edibo edibra na catch one abusua me be jebre na abo edira story mu blasi
Sorry, who is a former director of the Ghana School of Law, joining the conversation here on the Pulse. I'm sure you've been going through this petition. What's your initial response to it?
Unmeritorious and without any legal merit. As you rightly explained to your viewers, the group led by Israel Tete and Tafiamepo Roxy Nelson had paid a courtesy call on the acting chief justice. And after they were done, the chief justice thanked them, for the kind way, they said about peace. I can't see how, acting the chief justice in its administrative function, can be accused of judicial impropriety. He was not exercising any judicial function. He was not exercising any critical judicial function. He was not sitting as a judge. They did not call on him, in his capacity as a sitting judge. They went to him, say that, we are a group, calling ourselves that come to pay a courtesy call on you and to throw a polite thing that we may require a license for our members to be able, to practice and, have audience before the superior and lower courts of Ghana. That, does not amount to a misconduct, to say the least. And therefore, the president, must dismiss, the petition outright.
Dismiss the petition, you say. There are already talks that this may spell doom for judicial service, especially with the precedents that this administration set with the removal of the former Chief Justice. What's your thoughts on that?
This instant petition is without any legal merit. It is wholly unmeritorious. It does not measure up to the standard. The petitioner, is seeking to invoke the Ghana Judicial Code of Conduct and the national principles, particularly the Bangalore Principle Value 1. None of them is apposite. And I don't think that we should stretch Article 146 to a point of absurdity. When we do that, it means that all the judges, can now stand and be accused of judicial impropriety, because from time to time, they make extra judicial pronouncements at services, invitations, and other things. The rule of law does not suggest that a judge, is not supposed to, express his views. Here we are dealing with an acting chief justice who has been paid a courtesy call by a group of lawyers. And he says that the step you are taking is in the right direction. You will need a license to practice. How does that constitute judicial misconduct? Unless the petitioner does not understand the expression judicial misconduct or judicial impropriety, and the removal process by virtue of Article 146, as Justice Tatiba did point out in the famous
Okay.
in this country, that it is not everything a judge does, that will call for, or, that will attract the invocation of Article 146. So now, even if a judge, is about to have his breakfast or his lunch, or dinner, he has to be careful, he does not offend Article 146. That is not what the framers of the Constitution, enlisted. And we must be serious as a nation. The people, potential petitioners, should be educated about the nuances of Article 146, and not just wake up any day, and petition the president for the removal of, an acting chief justice or substantive justice. Else, the administrative function of the chief justice will disappear.
Thank you so much, Doc, for your time here on The Pulse. We also spoke earlier to Gbandi. Away from that, let's take you back to our earlier story. We told you that Ghana's military recruitment age is under scrutiny, and we are just working the lines now to speak to Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, who raised this, and joining us as well is security analyst Victor Doke, and as well as the ranking member on Parliament's Select Committee on Defence and Interior, Reverend Intim Fojo. We appreciate your time, gentlemen, here on The Pulse. I'll start with Victor Doke. As a security analyst, do you think it's time for us to review the recruitment age for our security services here at Ghana?
Very much for having me. I think when we take a look at the military itself, this institution that has its own standard operation procedures, and if you look at the processes of recruitment, the military does not, go ahead and start advertising for recruitment if it does not, consult the government, because they have to give clearance for that matter before it goes ahead. And when you look at the age that has been pegged, there's a reason for that. You're looking at bringing in young, able, active, men and women who would be very able to go through the rigorous physical exercises for that matter. And there's a specific reason. It cuts across not only in Ghana, but elsewhere on the continent. So it is not just, something you can review, okay, and then it will take effect for that matter. There's a lot of conversation that has to go, into that for it to become, viable. As it is now, the age limit that has been pegged is right for the Army standards. They have a reason so that we have young, able people coming in who would be able to withstand the rigorous trainings and then go through the various rankings. So I think if anyone or institution...
Doc, I seem to have lost connection to you.
If anyone wants to bring in or come up with conversations with regards to, reviewing the age limit, it's a whole holistic national conversation. It's not just a cross-section. And I think they should look at the implications, the negative implications they will have before that conversation should even be brought to the fore.
And we've just been hearing from the likes of Colonel Festus Abuaji speak about the implication to our budget if we start recruiting individuals who are older. Your thoughts on this?
Come again?
We've been speaking to key individuals in the security sector, with the likes of Colonel Festus Abuaji, he's of the opinion that when we start recruiting individuals who are older, we then put strain on our health budgets, especially with our security services. What's your thoughts on that?
Very right. So, the respected Petítíon has spoken. Now, he's very correct. You're looking at the age limit from 25 downwards, and then those who are posing or 30 plus upwards. Of course, two variations here. Those that fall into the category of the first one are very active, and those who fall into the second category are somewhat, considered as older. So there are implications. What the 25 and under can do, the 35 may not be able to do. So you see, all this requires the fact that when you go onto the training grounds, not only the aptitude tests or whatever, the training grounds, expose a lot of what ills. Those who are fit and those who are not fit. The older you get, the body is not still the same if we understand these dynamics. So at the end of the day, what the colonel is trying to say is it puts a strain on the health aspect. It means a lot of people will not be able to go through, they'll be having problems, i.e. maybe broken knees and whatever. They're going to remote areas for trainings. The weather conditions may have effects on people. And I personally have had encounters with people who have gone through the training and have opted out. They were even younger.
Huge media, I'm so be like, so subscribe to a POG political media as well. I need a call, so I read your post subscription. Now, I share off for us to answer. So it's me account. POG the about Ghana authentic political headlines and as stories are a POG person on Sabet me a cabin house one who the echo and the urban in a my Ghana political ASPS in him now. And some I know so Boba and I say a year advisor a Ghana bar and so Edema a year. John Dramani Mahama no team is almost so the full support and so editor a year the acting chief justice a Bafu Boni so on so betting me at twice or not just one so our permanent CJ no about Najuma Ediama a year on my Ghana judiciary system no and also betting me a fan to my pa at the affair. It was about to us so now it's in some way channel.
Because of health reasons, they came out. So if you are proposing that people who should be 30 plus or whatever, then it means you should be ready to also cater for their health needs if it arises.
Intim Fojo, one of the key members of Parliament Select Committee on Defence and Interior. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. You've just been hearing this proposal. From where you sit as the minority, is it even the way to go?
His call misconceived, and he called to want to increase the age limit for recruitment to military in Ghana is misconceived. If you check the basis for these calls from Honorable St. George, from Honorable Dasiameto, one of them insists that these are calls from his constituent. His foot soldiers are demanding that we recruit people above the age of 35.
It's interesting you make mention of that, and for our audience just watching, to say with us here on the Pulse, well, let's move on to other interesting developments this afternoon on the Pulse. The acting Chief Justice, Bawumia, is the subject of a fresh petition seeking his removal from office after a private citizen accused him of 4 instances of alleged stated misbehavior pursuant to Article 1461 of the 1992 Constitution. Justice Bawumia, who was also serving in an acting capacity since the removal of the former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo over similar allegations, we know, has been nominated by President John Dramani Mahama for that substantive appointment. However, even before his parliamentary vetting could take place, a new petition filed by a certain Bande Nabin Yusuf from Medina in the Lankwantana municipality has surfaced, citing fresh grounds for stated misconduct against him. Well, on your screens now are excerpts of that petition. Quite lengthy. We can go through all of it, but we'll do justice to a bit of it. Just let you know where it is from and who it is directed to. From Bande Nabin Yusuf, and he leaves his number there as well as where he's filing the petition from, and that's directed to the President of the Republic, at the Jubilee House. And that petition is just citing some of the key concerns that he says are grounds enough for that article to be triggered. And that is on your screens right now. The facts, as he names it. He says on the 24th of September 2025, Israel Tete, Dafia Mepo Roxin Nelson, and a group calling itself the Ghana Law Society filed a lawsuit in the Supreme Court seeking constitutional relief against the Ghana Bar Association. On the 25th of September 2025, barely a day later, Ghana Law Society, the third plaintiff in the case, met with Justice Paul Bafabani, who had just been nominated 2 days earlier as Chief Justice. If you recall, we brought you that story here live on the Pulse, where we showed you how they met with Paul Bafabani. At that meeting, widely covered by the media, he states, and directly linked in news reports to pending litigation, Justice Bafabani made comments which touched directly on issues central to the case. And he goes on to quote him, quote, "The bench is particularly interested in ... who ... which ... the Association A or Association B. What the bench is always interested in is whether we have representation for an accused person. So we will normally hear, quote, where is your lawyer? Who is your lawyer? And all that. And so since the case of Tariwaja and the Attorney General, the courts have always insisted that practicing lawyers must be in good standing. And as far as good standing is concerned to us, it means you must have a certificate from the GLC. So in your speech, counsel, you said that you were going to make representation to GLC for recognition and then licensing. Well, this is quite lengthy. And to help you understand the issues better, I should leave it to the man himself, the man who filed this petition, who will join us here live on the Pulse. Bande Yusuf joins us here on the Pulse as we just break down this petition for you. I could have read it to you, really, but I feel he should speak to the issues himself. Mr. Bande, we appreciate your time here on the Pulse.
Mr. Good afternoon to your the Ghanaian people.
Okay.
Good afternoon, often the Ghanaian people and our viewers. I thank for the opportunity. Petition I submit to the Office of the President for the removal of Chief Justice Paul Bafabani on the grounds stated pursuant to Article 146 of the Constitution. And for the sake of your viewers, Article 146 provides that a justice of the Supreme Court or a chairman of the regional tribunal shall not be removed from office except for stated misbehavior and incompetence or on grounds of inability to perform the functions of his office arising from infirmity of body or mind. The conduct of Justice Bafabani constitutes misbehavior because it breaches multiple provisions of the Judicial Code of Conduct of Judges and Magistrates of Ghana and offends internationally recognized principles of judicial behavior, such as the Bangalore Principle of Judicial Conduct 2002.
Let's take it step by step, Bande.
Yeah. Yes.
What exactly is the conduct of the acting Chief Justice that you feel contradicts this article for which you want him removed? Let's start from there. Let's start from the facts you have as stated in your petition. What are these grounds of stated misbehavior?
For the sake of time, like you read earlier, on the 24th of September 2005, one Israel Tete, Dafia Mepo Roxin Nelson, and a group that calls itself the Ghana Law Society filed a lawsuit in the Supreme Court seeking a constitutional relief against the Ghana Bar Association. And on the 25th of September, barely a day after the Ghana Law, the Chief Justice had been nominated, the Law Society met with the Chief Justice in a conversation that was covered by the media. And in his remarks to the group that met with him, he made certain statements that you read earlier that seems to suggest that he is already siding with one side of the people who went to file the lawsuit. And as Constitution demands, this act, I believe, is against propriety, it's against judicial independence, it's against the integrity of the court, and it seems to be stating that the justice is practicing impartiality, which shouldn't be the case. This, if allowed,
but then,
go
at what point did you establish that he was being partial? Because he welcomed them, they went on an official visit, and he welcomed them. That's the grounds you state for him being partial?
The principles and code of conduct of judicial judges and magistrates in Ghana, a case that is filed in court, the judge who is supposed to compile a bench to sit on the case by his office is not allowed to discuss issues issues relating to the same issue that have been filed in court with any of the parties. But in the case of Justice Bonny, he had been seen live on camera having a conversation that seems to preempt that he sides with the decision of the plaintiff, which is the Israel Tete Dapiamepo and the Ghana Law Society. And if this is allowed to pass, will dent the integrity of the party. You know, as stated, they say justice is not supposed to only be seen, it's not only supposed to be seen as being done, but it must also manifest in the actions of the people who interprets the law.
And I'm going through your petition, really. You state different code of conduct, which you say the current acting Chief Justice breached. One key conduct you make mention here is judicial independence. How did he breach this?
So judicial independence, the code states that judges exercise their judicial functions independently and free from extraneous influence. And also with regards to the Bangalore principle, the value one, independence, emphasizes that judicial independence is prerequisite to the rule of law and the fundamental guarantee for fair trial. By entertaining and meeting with the litigant and then endorsing elements of their legal arguments, Justice Bafuboni compromises the very independence that he is sworn to protect. And for which reason I believe the law should take its course, and the institution that is mandated to handle this should do as demanded.
It's clear you're reading out your petition to me. Critics who have seen this petition allege that this is sponsored by the opposition. Is that the case?
Well, so you see, this is not political, as someone might want to read meanings into. I am a citizen of Ghana, and by my right, I'm exercising my right as a citizen of Ghana and helping to protect the Constitution of Ghana and also build on our democracy. It is not got to do with any political party. It is not got to do with the interests of any individual. It is a constitutional right, and I'm exercising it in helping protect our Constitution and help build our democracy.
Help build our democracy, you say? So you've submitted this petition to the Jubilee House?
Yes, I did. And you see, in this case, the acting Chief Justice, who was supposed to be the one to determine the prima facie case in this matter, is the person of interest now. And so I suggested to the President that one cannot be a judge in his own matter. And so he should appoint the next in command to take care of this petition and recommend the appropriate.
And who is the next in command?
The next in command should be in the person of one Justice
Gabriel Scott.
Yes, Kwaman. Yes, Kwaman.
Okay.
That's it. So coming home now about Eddie Raju Media. Say POG Media. The band of Ghana authentic political headlines are a POG Media pair and I'll submit me a Ghana also who the echo and the Emba Ninana. Meshes as on subscribe to POG Media, and we see a lot about Ghana, a political updates, POG personal, sabet me account, I was one who the echo, and the air banana, my Ghana, and I bet me so about the comment section, now was waiting me, Eddie Como, and a POG Media, Beba, na yensu ababa, but that's it, so Jebre, now POG,